Hello and welcome to Softline. I'm Nancy Banigo, and with me today I have the money lady, Alare.
Hello, Nancy.
How you doing, Alare?
I'm fine.
The money lady.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you came with some cash for us.
Plenty cash.
Yeah. All right.
Have you been?
I've been well.
It's always
great.
wonderful to be here.
It's always wonderful to have you here.
By the way, did I tell you you're exceptionally beautiful?
Oh
today?
my goodness, Alare, don't come. Thank you. My head is swelling like this.
But you are actually. I think you had a well-rested season later last year. So.
And talking about season, this is the first time we're meeting this year.
Yeah,
right? Oh my goodness. Happy New Year, Alare.
Happy New Year.
So have you been?
Sorry about that. Oh, well, I've been great.
All right.
Starting off strong.
That's great. Great to know. You're a strong lady.
Oh, thank you.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
So what's happening?
Earlier this year, I saw something that was really disturbing.
Okay.
A video of two young boys of about 10 years. One was puking seriously, and then the other one was a bit sober. And I went to the comment section, and behold, the kind of things I saw there, they were, because I kept asking, I said, could this young man be sick? What could be going on? And these people are videoing him instead of attending to him or taking him to the hospital or something. Only for me to realize that they had taken a substance. Now, where they got that substance from, I don't even know. But this thing is serious, because what if that young man passes out? It's a case of a lot of concern.
You know, I also saw that video moments ago, just when you talked about it, and it's heartbreaking to see kids like that in that situation.
10 years.
What happened? And looking at the boy, I also saw he painted his hair, like he colored his hair or something. So, you know, we just need to dig deeper. I need to understand what really went wrong in this case. If these children intentionally went to get this thing to take, or is an adult somewhere trying to run some kind of experiment on these children. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because these days, there's nothing people do not do for content. You understand?
If it's for content, that would really be so...
Exactly.
It's sad. It's sad. Because nobody would want to use a 10-year-old for an experiment. What if they lost their lives?
Exactly. And so that is the problem. And we have lots of these youth, lots of these young children on the streets who have the same problem, drug addiction, taking one form of substance or the other. We have a whole lot of them. In fact, these days, I don't know. It's like it's a trending thing. I don't understand. You see people. But among all the videos I've seen so far, this is the most heartbreaking one. Because these children cannot speak for themselves. So somebody must have injected this or must have tricked them to give them this. Or they must have seen an adult doing it and want to experiment.
What if maybe this substance were sold by their parents? You know, when children, they like trying out new things, especially when they see them and when they see other people around. So I think the community they live in must have played a role in. But let me
now shock you to collaborate what you've just said. Now, when I was growing up, we used to have this uncle who comes to stay with us once in a while. And we looked at him like one kind of tushed. He's a tushed uncle. He works with the custom. So, you know, he's so young and vibrant. And when he's coming like this, he gets us a lot of, gifts and goodies and all that.
Things like that.
So we're always looking up to him like one, I don't know, we see him like he's not from this part of the world. He is our uncle, but he's quite different from us. So there's this love we have for him. We always try to watch everything he does, and he's quite rough, I must say. So sometimes he brings us into his room after he smokes. He smokes a whole lot. So, but the thing he does was, before he brings us into the room, he must have cleaned everything. But there's this day, he didn't clean properly. The cigarette butts and all that, we are still in the saucer or what they call that thing. There were a whole lot of them there. And me, my two cousins, and we were 5 of us then. This was how we sat down and started lighting this cigarette butt. And that was where I got my first taste of cigarette.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
And so, one thing I realized I will never forget is when I was doing this thing, I didn't look at it like it's a crime because I see my uncle doing it and I love my uncle so much.
Yeah.
So I see like, oh, so this is what he does that makes him look so different and so, touched the way he is.
And you never asked any question.
No.
And your mom never suspected anything.
Nobody knew anything. We just finished it there. And then I discovered that after that experiment, we were looking forward to having the full cigarette,
God.
Because this was just the butt. So there was nothing much there. So we're all looking forward to how we're going to get the main cigarette. And so that was how we got separated. My cousins went back. And so that experiment was not carried out. So what I'm trying to bring in here, that children copy a lot.
Exactly.
They watch what the adults around do. So these two kids now probably must have seen some adults doing this thing and they wanted to try it out. But unfortunately for them, they are in this state.
And I can just imagine, because if they remain in that environment for a long time.
Oh goodness, just forget it.
Then the story...
It's different. It's going to be different.
And
it's going to be different. Oh, well, let's go on a very short break, Larry. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people they talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first face.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
Now here's some exciting news. ADBN is everywhere you are. Stay connected with us across all our social media and streaming platforms for exclusive news updates, captivating stories, and more. Join the ADBN community today via our various platforms on Avo TV app, ADBN channel 121, Niger TV app, ADBN TV, Limex World TV app, ADBN TV. Get the latest news straight to your phone. Join our WhatsApp channel. Just search for ADBN TV and hit the follow button. Turn on your notification to stay updated and never miss any part of the experience. Stay in the conversation with us across our social media handles on X at ADBN_TV, Instagram at ADBN_TV, Facebook ADBN TV, YouTube ADBN TV_NG, and keep visiting our website on www.adbntv.com. Watch us live anytime, anywhere. ADBN TV, a part of you.
Welcome back and thanks for being there. So recently I came across a heart-wrenching video of a young girl struggling with what appeared to be substance abuse. It sparked a mix of emotion and questions in me. How did she get to this point? What support system failed her? And most importantly, how can we help? Today we'll delve into the complex issue of substance abuse among young people, seeking answers and exploring ways to make it different. Join us as we discuss the signs, the symptoms, and solution, and work together towards creating a safer and more supportive environment for our youth. Now, today's topic, we are being joined by Mr. Benjamin Omini. Now, Benjamin Omini, I thought it wise. I think he's going to be the right person for this discussion because I'm permitted to say your history, right? He has been on the streets. He understands what it means. He has seen it with his 2 eyes. But I don't know that aspect of him if he indulged in it. Yeah, we're going to find out today. But trust me, it's going to be an interesting discussion with Benjamin. Benjamin, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah. So, like I said, there are so many videos going around. And the twist to these videos that I've seen recently is that they are mostly girls, young ladies, you know, all of a sudden, girls doing so well on social media, you see them posting up and down, but all of a sudden you see them taking off their clothes and running up and down the street. Now, so many people have, you know, attributed this to Yahoo boys, using them for rituals and all that. But I want to think differently. They don't look, I don't understand what they say when they say somebody is moving and alive and is being used for ritual. How does it work? You know, so, but we know that the abuse of drug is quite common among youth. Very, very common. So, Benjamin, what is your take on this situation? Let's just start from the videos, because I'm sure you've seen some of these videos too.
Yes, I've seen the videos. I think I'm going to divert a little bit from what is actually on Google.
Okay.
And what is available on Texas.
Okay.
On what?
Texas.
Okay.
Our texts are common conventional texts.
Okay.
I'm actually one of the proponents of alternative education. And the curriculum for alternative education is different from the conventional educations we have here. The reason why we have more videos of young girls who are assumed to be used by ritual Yahoo boys is because the young men who engage in drugs and get them involved in drugs have a bro code. They cannot leak their own videos outside.
Oh.
So when they now want to bring shame to a girl who was proving stubborn, hard to get, and now get her to a point, in fact, 5 people can sit down together and contribute money, and the one that will lure her in will be the one she has never turned down. The moment they bring her to maybe a hotel or a place, they induce her with drugs, and the next thing they start recording her and publish. And then there is also a dark web where such videos are being sold. That's why that's why in the law we have what is called revenge porn. Take for instance, for lovers who are involved with each other, exchanging news and stuff like that, the moment a partner decides to threaten you with what you shared with him in private, the person can go to prison for 14 years to 12 years to 14 years and can pay as much as 7 million for damages. Not because he has posted it, but he has threatened to. But a lot of girls don't know that these things exist. And in this Akwa Ibom, I've actually been involved in some cases where I arrest those people and we bring them to book for threatening, because at that point, these people share their stuff in confidence. So the moment you try to put them in a position where their self-esteem is compromised, they now turn to drugs. So most of the young girls that you are seeing abusing drugs are because they don't have the mechanism to cope with issues of life. Most of them depression, most of them heartbreak, most of them traits. So when people actually talk about drug abuse, they look at the aspect of someone going to buy this particular substance, the other particular substance. No. You come to it from the aspect of what actually makes this possible, that they are only seeing the videos of young girls that are
and not the
guys. It's because the guys are actually using it as a weapon to humiliate them on social media, and most of them are influencers on TikTok. So the moment these things happen, their account is blocked, their reputation is down, they don't have, and so it's crazy. It's actually a weapon. So our job as advocates, both for the, like, I'm a member of a coalition against sexual and gender-based violence in Akwa Ibom State. Our job as advocates is to make sure we protect our daughters from such men who have actually taken them to that point. And then our job also is also to educate our younger ones. A young man walked up to a lady that was sitting at the bar and asked her, "Would you mind if I get you a drink?" The guy said, "I don't want to because it's not good for my legs." And the guy was like, "Just a shot is not good for your legs? How do you mean?" He said, "Because if I take a shot of alcohol, my legs will be open." The guy said, "Barman, bring 1 bottle." Because if just a shot will open your leg, then 1 bottle will mess you up. I think it's important we let our daughters know that they should protect themselves from people who assume they are spenders, who assume the moment someone tells you, just feel comfortable, that should be a sign enough to make you know that you're not supposed to feel comfortable. Because if you're supposed to be comfortable, the person will not bring up the issue of just feel comfortable around me. So most of the girls you see online are not abusers. If they were abusers, they would not be running the street, because abusers have a network that protects them from the embarrassment.
Oh my goodness.
This is serious.
Oh my goodness. You know, this is a whole new dimension.
Because
to
they
what
have
I've
to
been
ask
thinking.
them.
Yes,
They'll have to ask them, where do you get your drugs? If they are taken by the police for question, they'll ask them. So the abusers have a network that protects them. Once they are abusing their drugs, they are in a place for a whole day or 6 hours, 8 hours, and they are protected.
Syndicate.
So there is a syndicate that protects them from their addiction. It is the ones that don't have any support system that works the streets, stay in the market and start misbehaving. Because at the point where they drop them, they are not sure if they can endure the influence of the drugs they are abusing.
I want to know.
Okay.
Sorry, Nancy, but I really need to know at this point. Have these people ever been caught? Since it's a syndicate, all right? To what extent? What is their connection? What is their community like? Have they been investigated? How many of them?
Do we even know? Because I'm just hearing this for the first time.
I'm really just hearing it for the first time.
Well, I think the shocker is the fact that there are some drugs that are mixed, and I will not mention names, are mixed with a particular type of drug that the moment someone takes it in, the person will forget the last 5 days of his life or her life. So even when they recover, they will not remember where they went to. So when you realize that these girls are asked questions, they just can't remember who took them, who dropped them, where they went to, is because these drugs has been. See, don't be angry. I beg more than no vex so. Our students that are graduating from chemical engineer, biochemistry, and knowing all those mixtures, they don't have jobs. And some of these syndicates that produces hard drugs employ them and pay them heavily to mix drugs because they are graduates.
Seriously? That's a breaking news. I must say, I don't agree with this. You mean just employ them to pay them to mix drugs for them? To what end? What kind of drugs?
At the end of the day, they sell these drugs to users, and some of the users have issues. And that's why when I was in secondary, I was born brought up deeper life. My mom said to me, if you follow the son of a rich man to smoke, if the rich man's son has mental health issues, they'll take him to a hospital. If you have mental health issues, you run in the market.
Words of wisdom.
So you have to choose. Because since you don't have a father or a system that can take you to a psychiatric home for rehabilitation, just know that you run the market. 60% of young girls who discuss people who lure them into activities that includes outings, late hours, meetings, and drugs, when they discuss it with their parents, 60% of them have a likelihood of not being engaged in drugs for life.
Okay.
Because their parents will now open up and tell them the disadvantage. And that's why, if you notice, there have never been an alcoholic company that advertises with drunk people. They use happy people in bar that are winning, their scores are winning, their football teams.
Responsible people.
Those are the people they use to advertise alcohol. They don't use drunks.
I never thought of that.
So the dynamics for drug abuse is actually different from the simple ones that we see someone selling drugs by a street corner, selling drugs in a school. In fact, the most abused drugs right now is paracetamol.
Paracetamol.
And even in my practice as a medical person, there are some patients we give drugs to, we don't give them with the cards that comes with the drugs.
Oh, so they don't get to
so that they will not have to go out after, because the moment we give you a drug for 5 days, 8 days, you're supposed to come back for us to examine you and know if we should continue with the drugs or we should step it up or stop it or introduce a new one. But if they now get addicted with the feeling of how good the drug is,
they go back
and they buy it on their own. That's why in places like Ibadan, and I thank God in Akwa Ibom State, they are trying to enforce that you cannot buy drugs over the counter without doctor's prescription. So it is very, very important. So some people have gone as far as using drugs that are not supposed to be used for a particular purpose because they just want to enhance performance. Just yesterday, a police officer died in a hotel because he wanted to impress a young girl.
Yeah, that story.
And guess what happened? He did not know that he had a malign heart condition.
Oh.
And Viagra was actually created for people that had heart attack.
Oh.
And the side effect of Viagra was actually erection. So Visa now had to change the drugs from being for people that have heart attack people that have erectile dysfunction. Now, so people now go and take 100 milligram to prove to a girl. So in the process of trying to prove to a girl that you are strong, it now affects your heart and the person passes on.
Dies.
So basically, drug abuse is not just about the C word. It's not just about the W word. It's not just about the I word. It's about even smaller things like prednisolone, smaller things like Piriton, smaller things like paracetamol, because the damages of these drugs.
And these are all painkillers.
Yes.
Painkillers. And then some people become addicted to painkillers, and even if they're having migraine, they want painkiller. Instead of sitting down to ask themselves, what am I actually doing that's causing this to happen? So let's not divert from the issue of young girls that are on the streets.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought us back, because
so we have a lot of young girls who most times they are paid by one person. So one person picks them up in the club, and it was actually 4 people that are waiting for them in the house or hotel.
Okay.
So the moment they get there and they notice that it was these 4 people that contributed, they have to service the 4 people. And sometimes for them to cover their humanity and sanity, they have to be involved with drugs to make them high. So whatever happens in the next 6 hours with these 5 guys, they are not there.
Okay. All right, so but this thing you're saying now, are you saying it as a you understand it, you know the system, you've passed through it, or are you just speculating?
I was a street child. I was a street child from 1992 to 1996. I was rescued by a corps member who came to save in Akwa Ibom, and in the past 11 years, I've been saving a lot of street children and children living with street situation. And I know also that our kids has combinations and substances that they combine inside Ragoli's container, inside these plastic containers, and you think that they are drinking water, not knowing that it's actually substance abuse. What they do is that at the point when they feel depressed, they feel hungry, they just open it, shake it, and they sniff it, and you knock them out for 6 to 8 hours.
Goodness.
I mean, these street children in Uyo. I mean in Uyo. I don't mean in Lagos.
What age range are we talking
Between the ages of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they're already introduced to drug abuse. Yes, they may not smoke Igbo, but they have substances that they use, and you think it's water, not knowing that it is substance. And some of them can go as far as going to soccer waste to open it up to sniff.
Seriously?
Yes. So it's not.
Okay, so the reason why they do this to knock them out so that they don't feel the hunger for
hours. They don't feel the depression, they don't feel the abandonment. They just want to leave this world. They want to be in another level. And the moment they're at that level, they'll be there until 6, 8 hours. And sometimes if they are there at that level and someone comes to introduce to them going to rob a shop, going to rob a house, at that level, they can follow the person. And since they are small, they're the ones that will be pushed into houses to go and open the doors from houses. They're the ones that will push into shops to go and open the shops from inside. So they are under influence. So right now, we have children that are in conflict with the law. These are children that are abusing drugs and they are living on the streets. So there's more to this. There's more.
Okay, so
yes, it's everything. All the information is pouring. It's overwhelming. I'm just trying to,
wrap your head around
wrap my head around everything. Now, I want you to tell us, please, what are the long-term and short-term effects of these, this substance use on young ones?
If I want to talk about the long-term effect, let's take another form of drug abuse that we don't talk about. Then I'll tell you the effect of that particular one.
No name mentioning.
And I'm not going to mention names of the drugs. I've had young girls between the ages of 14 and 16 trying to rush life into adult industry. Then they come to the hospital and they are asking for hormone enhancement drugs. They want their body to be bigger. They want their body to be bolder.
To look more mature.
So if they tell you that they are 20, you won't doubt when in actual fact they are 14, 15, 16.
It's happening in... Okay.
And most times they can find themselves, they can travel away for 3 months and they come back and you're like, you see your own classmate and everything in her is bigger than yours. And you're like, what did she do? What did she eat? Because there are job offers waiting for them in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in some of these small motels. And they are paid 150 a month, 200 a month, 200,000 a month, 150 a month. And they are just there to service men. And if these men come and they say they are looking for, they don't want the mature ones, they want the younger ones. They bring them out and their prices is more. Now, the side effect of this drug is that the moment they get to the age of 28, 29, 30, they start having mental problem because most of the drug and hormone enhancement drugs are actually antidepressants.
All right, let's take a look at this vox pop because seriously speaking, my head, I'm just trying to assimilate some of those things. Let's take a look at this vox pop and then we'll come back for more discussion. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Drugs, sometimes I believe some of them have some good effects and some have bad effects, but the bad effect is a problem now. The bad effect there is when you overuse the drugs. Sometimes you misuse, like maybe a drug is given to you in a hospital now, the description you were given, and now you take it, you now maybe do beyond what the doctor actually explained for you. So that's when you abuse the drugs. And it's not until it's the hard drugs or any other ones, but any drugs can be abused. So that's the thing.
Abuse of drug is taking drugs without the doctor's prescription, like overdose of drugs, because most times even taking a lot of paracetamol is actually drug abuse, because we have prescriptions on how you take the particular drugs, like okay, you have to take 2 morning, afternoon, night. But most people used to take it almost every single hour, seconds and minutes. So for me, that is drug abuse.
There are young boys in our environment that usually take all this, what they call Sigbo and all of that. And when they started it gradually, and before you know, the thing escalated, and most of them are behaving insane. Actually, they are behaving insane. And it's obvious that most of them today, they are like mad people in the streets. For young boys out there, most of them have not seen the effect. Most of them have seen people who are undergoing the pains of all this, the effect of hard drugs. So I will advise young boys to abstain from these drugs. And normally, not only hard drugs, even most of these prescribed medical drugs that are given to young people. And you see some people, like some of my friends, they'll tell you that the prescription is that you are going to take 2 taps of paracetamol, and because it doesn't work for them, they say somebody is saying that he's going to take 3 or 4. So I advise people should follow strict prescription from a medical practitioner.
The one I have seen as a friend in my street, but the only effect there was the madness. But though he came back to his senses, but it took time. Now, even coming back to his senses now is not really normal as he was before, because things has really changed personally. You know, some, I don't know how to call it, but the life he's living now is not as it was before. And before now was better than how he is now. So I know this drug abuse thing is not good for our personal health. And
I don't know the kind of drugs, but I would say the thing led to mental illness, like the person wasn't himself again once it comes to his mental health. Okay, my advice to people who abuse drugs is, due to what they used to teach us, if you overtake drug or abuse drugs, you die probably young. So for you not to die young, it's just for you to move away from such drugs. And if you are sick or you know there's something wrong, to please see the doctor. Do not take drugs at your own risk or in your own palliative, that okay, oh yes, yes, malaria is malaria, you have to take so thing, you have to do this. So no, you have to go and see the doctor.
Thank you for being there. And then I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know.
I'm overwhelmed.
You know, we had to go talk to the youth because they are the center of this whole pandemic. Yeah. You know, so we have to understand their mindset, their thinking, why they indulge in this. So now that we've heard all these stories and we've seen all this problem, what is the way forward? How can we help some of these persons? Like your NGO now, do you have a collaborative pattern where you help some of these people, you know?
Yes, we do. Thankfully, the government of Akwa Ibom State, through the Ministry of Human Affairs and Social Welfare and the Ministry of Health, have centers where people that are having issues with drug abuse, withdrawal syndrome, can find help. We also have NGOs in Akwa Ibom State that are basically they are objective is to help people suffering with drugs abuse, because people suffering with drug abuse are most likely to get infections like HIV, human papilloma virus, and other sexually transmitted, because at the point when their mind is compromised, they are most susceptible to suggestions that may not be healthy to them. The other part of drug abuse that people don't even talk about is the fact that the kidney is compromised over a period of time. And the moment that happens, it makes it impossible for them to benefit from medical intervention when they are sick in older age.
Yeah.
Because it is actually our internal organs that process the medications to heal our system.
Exactly.
So if the internal organs are compromised, at the time when you need help, and you are administered something that would have taken 5 milligram, you need to take like 15. Or they would have reduced the time interval from 4 hours to 2 hours to make sure that the drugs take effect. So it's not just about saying, I don't want to run naked on the street, I don't want to run wild on the street. There are some damages that drug abuse causes to the system. Some people have issues with malaria resistance. The parasite resist the normal drugs that other people take and they are fine. Some people have to treat malaria twice a week. Sometimes it may not actually be the hard drugs, it may be something like alcohol that is actually stressing the kidney and the livers and the lungs and stressing the internal organ, so medications cannot be processed properly. So the side effects of these drugs are multiversity. They are the dimensions to which, because our system, whatever is planted is good for the body. Whatever is organized, synthesized, is not good for the body, because the body was created for organic. So the more we go into synthesis, the more we have issues with that. But that's why, if you notice, most doctors will advise people that why not change your lifestyle instead of having to depend on medication. And there are some people that cannot even stay without medication. They feel that if you don't give them drugs, they are not going to be fine. So most doctors now introduce, in medicine we have what is called placebo. These are drugs with different colors, shapes, and sizes that don't have anything to do with the body, but you just have to help people that are psychologically attached to taking drugs.
I remember the one time when they were busy injecting something, and inside my head I felt that was a pain reliever. So when I get the pain again, I'll ask for it, and they were just giving me at each request.
So that could be a placebo.
It can be a placebo.
So after the whole thing, I had to ask the doctor, why was it okay? When I asked again after the whole scenario and everything, the doctor said, it's okay for now. I said, okay, why were you giving it to me? So he laughed. And that laugh was suspicious. I had to ask him, why are you laughing? So he now explained to me that it was actually water.
So doctor, please, I want to ask this question. What are some of the most effective strategies in preventing drug abuse?
The most effective I have seen that works over and over again is support system.
To prevent it, which means it's inevitable. It will definitely happen.
If you have people you can talk to when you need someone to talk to. Is it okay for me to be this vulnerable? I found myself in a bad relationship, like marriage. And for 4 years, it was terrible. You know, most times men don't talk about what they go through, and I actually ended up started smoking and drinking.
Because of the bad marriage.
I had to live with it. And people outside were clapping for you, and when you come back inside, you're abused. It was when I called off the relationship and stood out that I started asking God, help me, you know, this is not me. Started having support system around me, people I can turn to if I'm feeling depressed and I need someone to talk to. I walk to them, they spend time, we talk about other things, and that made me too. I walked out of drinking and smoking like it never happened.
Just the way you walk.
That's really
because
good.
I had a support system to push me out and make me feel worthy. They make me feel I deserve
but more. Then at this generation now, they don't even seek for this support system. That's the problem.
You know, I feel their support system is the social media. It's toxic. The environment is still toxic.
Social media. You know, when we were younger, if you went to a family and you had to pick someone's toy, your mother would ask you to return it.
Return it, yes.
But as we grow older, A child will pick someone's toy and the mother will ask the parents and the owner of the toy, let him play with the toy for some time, after it will return it. So it now became very comfortable for people to now infringe on people's property as long as it makes them feel comfortable and they are supported by a mother or a father that don't want them to cry. So I think making things easier for this generation, the younger children, is one of the reasons why they feel that they can get away with anything.
Wow.
So the more we call for accountability and responsibility, somebody sang about 18 years ago, blame it on the alcohol.
Yeah.
No. You blame it on you. Until people start taking responsibility, we'll actually be blaming, because this is an issue of responsibility. You have to take, like, for my practice, I can't see myself drinking or smoking again, because I have people that are dependent on me. I can be called upon anytime to see a patient. I can be called upon anytime to rescue a child that's stranded. So because of that, I have to keep my mind clear. If there's something I need to talk about, it's either I pray to God and pour out my heart in the place of prayer and worship. I speak to my wife. I speak to a pastor. Even though there are some pastors you speak with and whatever you confide in them ends up in the altar, the next message for Sunday. And that's why it's safer to confide in a reverend father. Because you know, here
quite secretive.
Yeah, they have confidentiality. So it's the support system. The moment we can have, like, in the next 6 months, our plan is to open what is called listening hub. Where people that have something to say can just come and sit down and talk without being judged.
Okay. That's a good one.
That's a very good
so
one.
You just sit down in a safe environment and you just pour out your mind. Some people, you know, 60% of the people that are been married for 16, 18, 20 years now, which their husband was not around.
Yeah, lots of them.
In fact, it is when the husband travels that they now cook the best meal and have the best time of their life with their children. And they fail to understand that there's a reduction in their estrogen level, and that reduction in their estrogen level is making them harder than softer. So if they now go to Well Woman, do supplements, evening primrose, it boosts the deficiencies. So it's not the husband per se, it's just the influx of emotional imbalance.
Let's take some few tweets, Mr. Benjamin. Okay. We have this one here from Max Vesha. So he said, drug abuse among Nigerian youth is fast rising at an unprecedented rate and at a speed never before emphasized in our country. It will pick up even more pace in coming times. We have a very serious problem in our hands, but we probably don't know it yet. I agree with that. We probably do not know we have big problem yet. Then he also continues, and the truth is that the very Nigerian artists we celebrate and worship today are the very ones encouraging and fueling this decay among the youth. And it's crazy, but we are building a future for ourselves that will bear the face of the reckless irresponsibilities of tomorrow. Let's take this last one. It said, drug, alcohol, nudity, Indian hemp, encouraging of Yahoo activities are what our music industry is showcasing. The influence on the youth and society at large is dangerous. Addiction to these vices is the trend we see all around us now, and the aftermath is some of the societal ills we see manifesting. Train your children. It is very important. Now that takes us to another segment or another angle of this whole discussion. Our celebrities, you know. Because, you know, when Aleri was saying they don't have the people they run to or they look out for or look up to social media, that's very true. Because our celebrities, all those people they reference, all those people they worship, they're all there. And these people, when they go to their shows and all that, some of them even, you know, do this puffing and all that. So some of these youths probably think you have to be like that to be successful. So there is no way these people are condemning this act. Rather, they're encouraging it.
There was even a time that the face of restraint for drug abuse was actually smoking publicly in this country. He was an ambassador for National Drug and Law Enforcement Agency. And
yes.
I've not called.
No, we did not call.
We don't know. There were some what they call it, the
activists who spoke up against it.
Yes.
Okay, but let's come back to the basics. If Indian hemp is illegal, why are the raps that are used to wrap this Indian hemp, given NAFDAC numbers, and they are sold everywhere.
Wow, that's a big question.
Because these wraps are not used for any other thing
than to
wrap it.
But you could as well wrap cigarettes.
Yeah,
right?
And those cigarettes are not available.
Wow.
This is serious.
That's a big question, though.
This is really serious.
We'll have to look into that.
So if you are banning something, what about the accessories that encourages the use of these wrappers? One of the things that makes celebrities and also people that are influencers to go into expressly using drugs is self-confidence. Some of them don't feel they can perform without
these drugs.
Yeah. And that's why, unlike the sports where you are tested against drug abuse, the music industry,
nobody tests you.
The entertainment industry, there are no testing, there are no regulations.
Wow.
So if we ask the government, okay, one of my favorites, Burna Boy, said he turned down is it a 5 million or 50 million concert because they did not permit him to smoke in Dubai.
You see, that's another way to curb it.
So we have a system who does not encourage some things, and people have to toe the line. Our dear Tiwa Savage was asked to perform at the coronation of the prince, the king of England, and her performance was amazing. But her dressing, the only part of her body you saw was her neck. She was covered from the neck down to her hands, and she came out like a queen.
Elegant. And she wowed.
So there could be restrictions.
Yes.
And these restrictions can be enforced, and these restrictions can actually
go a
long way. So if we have the restrictions, if we have the changes in the
institutional change, and if it's implemented by the appropriate bodies.
If you have any video that smoking is involved, it will not be aired on TV.
Exactly. That
if you have any video that drinking alcohol is involved, it will not be aired. If you have any video that any form of nudity is involved, it will not be aired. And you'll notice that great names like Celine Dion, their videos do not show nudity.
Of course.
Beatles, talk about great names. So if we have restrictions and we say we cannot play this because of this word, and you notice they'll just be editing it, and some people will now sit back and start rewriting all their scripts all over again. We need an organizational thing, a systemic change to make sure that these things are not encouraged publicly.
You know, when you mention these big names, we also hear some, secret talks like that, that's not very common, that they also do use drugs, but the difference is that they don't come out to
do it openly,
to show it openly like some of our celebrities do it here. So what's the way forward? Now that we do not have those institutions, we don't have those laws that can ban them from, performing half naked or holding cigarettes to do this. What do you think we should do?
Our own responsibility is to hold our own. We go back to our children.
He said it.
Yes, hold our own. Because the moment we are able to protect our home and protect our own, we are sending out ambassadors who do you know that it's even shameful to tell people that you are a virgin now?
Why is it shameful?
You still be picking, no?
Oh, goodness.
Now, wow, like your eye not even see it. And they talk. The first time I get picking, I was 14. You know this chief son. I ain't giving my face picking, and you see teenagers bragging about how many children they have given birth to.
This is sad.
Wow.
So it's a thing of pride, and you see a young mother telling a young girl, at your age, you're supposed to be bringing things back to this house, and the girl is just 16. Why are you doing something with all these small boys? Don't you see married men? And what will give them the boldness to be involved with people that are their father's age or older than that is drugs.
I think at this point, I would ask this question.
Okay.
What's the recovery rate or the recovery plan for drug abuse for the affected ones?
Well, we have a cup here, and if we had a bottle with us, you'll notice that the moment this cup is filled, the rate at which the water falls out will be different from the rate at which the one from the bottle falls out because their mind are open, their brain is open, they are more receptive. The people that you force to help will not be as receptive as the people that see the need for help. Because these people can pretend before you because of the stipends you give them, the incentive you give them for staying away from drugs, and when they have their private time, they still have something somewhere that they have kept to stop the withdrawal syndrome. So we have to give them first and foremost a reason to stay off drugs. And I've seen people on their own walking into rehabilitation centers and saying, I want to stop this. And I've seen people having a crisis that they knew that if they don't stop this, they are going to lose this, and the crisis now make them to get themselves admitted into rehabilitation. And I'm hoping that very soon in Akwa Ibom State, we are going to have a rehab center that will be sponsored by not only the government, because the government has their role to play, creating a good facility that will be sponsored by concerned citizens. They have food, and then inside the rehab, we can have training centers where people can, while they are coming through rehabilitation, they can start learning something that will keep them busy. Because most times, the moment you are busy with something that's creative, that's something that is engaging you, some other things becomes less attractive. So these things become a distraction. So if we have a center that can carry as much as 1,000 inmates, and we have them in a 3 months, 6 months, 1 year plan. The first 3 months is to give them chance to accept that they are addicts and they need change, and then they start going through the gradual process. By the 6th month, they are introduced into skill acquisition thing, and then we now create a system in the government. Take for instance, at the airport, we create a place, a warehouse, where whatever they create in these skill acquisition centers are displayed there, and whatever they sold in those places are sent back directly to their accounts.
That will really go a long way to encourage them.
Exactly.
But as a society, you know, that's a good thing you're saying here. But you know one thing, when I see some of these videos, the reaction from people, you know, is like that of, like they're outcasts. Nobody wants to go close to them. They just bring videos, take videos, and do all manner of things. So as a society, what is it you think we can do to create a change? Like when we see people in that state, what can we do?
I think our society, regrettably, has become more of a show of society than empathetic society. I remember once I was walking down the street and I saw a woman with mental health issue having her monthly flow. And she sat down like this by a pavement, and people just watched and passed. And immediately I saw that. I called 2 women who were sympathetic about her, and we bought wrapper and covered her and carried her away from the place. If these things happen, and people that are seeing it for the first time intervene and carry them out of the place, it will reduce the frequency of these videos on social media. If we become more empathetic about people like this, instead of judging them to be, hey, it don't happen. Say, if you tell you, say, me, stay for one place, no agree. You don't follow your own boys, don't use you. The moment we have a society, this could have been my daughter. I saw a story happened in Calabar some time ago. A man was coming back from work and saw a gathering of people, and instead of stopping to check what happened, he drove past, only for him to be called that his only son was the one that was knocked down by a car. The boy died. If he had stopped by at that time, we have carried that son to the hospital. But since it was like in Bereke, it doesn't concern me. He only got back home and was called later to be told that that place that people were gathering by Wanse, it was actually your son that was hit by a car and he's dead. So everybody, we have to be involved.
Right? Everybody, not just the government, media, so everybody has a role to play.
The moment you see an incident like that, that's the best time to intervene. Look for clothes, cover the person, contain, call the police. The moment you call the police, they can move the person out of the vicinity, and then let's reduce all this covering videos and just say someone unless you want to record the person for what?
Well said, Mr.
Do you have any hopeful stories, you know, that you can share?
Yeah. We have a lot of stories, regrettably. We have a lot of stories. I've been involved with over 100 street children, and if you see them now, some of them have gone to higher institutions, secondary school. These are people that were heavily involved with vices. The first thing that they did was I opened my house to them, and I told them not to call me uncle, they call me brother. So we call our home my brother's place instead of orphanage.
Okay.
So if they are coming, they know they will not see any girl in my house. They will not see any drug in my house. They will not see anything that will encourage them. So the moment they come, they have to behave. And over time, I noticed that if you want to go back to school, instead of using the money you've been using to gamble, save it. If it's up to buying shoe or this, you are going to. So there are cases of people wanting a better life and they have to give up this, give up this, give up that. It's happening, and more are going to come.
We have a lot of audience, I believe, who might know somebody who knows somebody who is struggling with addiction and all that. So could you just speak to them from your mouth to their ears?
I actually know it's difficult to face life with all the things that are happening, especially when you are made to believe that you're not worth anything. But let me show you something. I came here with some Naira notes. And you know, this is our currency. You can't abuse it. We have this Naira note, is very clean compared to this. But just because this one has passed through more hands than this one doesn't reduce their value from 1,000 Naira to 800.
Food for thought.
It doesn't matter what you've gone through. In the hand of Central Bank of Nigeria, this is 1,000 and this is 1,000. Whatever this money can afford for 1,000, this money will afford it. So it doesn't matter what you've been through. Your value in the hand of God is intact. And I want to encourage you to find people around you that you feel you can trust. And let me tell you, you know people around you, especially those people that used to tell you the truth I do not like. Those are the people that you can trust the most. Reach out to them, speak to them. And I trust that they will be willing to have you back. There's a song currently that he leaves the 99 and goes for the one. Even if you are the one, there's someone that's interested in your life and your future. And guess what? We are all here to support you. This TV station has actually made it possible for your voice to be heard and your situation to be acknowledged. And because of that, reach out. We'll be here for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Benjamin. That was a powerful closing remark from you. Well, Hilary, we have to go. But I must say I've been touched by this last
I have been touched
from him
as well. I've been touched in many areas than I could imagine.
All right, so that goes. I'm very happy he said this. It's from him. So if you see some of these persons who, you know, have this mental issues, young girls, young boys around, instead of snapping, instead of taking videos, instead of laughing and passing judgments on them, the best you can do is to render help. Call some. If you cannot do it on your own, look for who to call that can help them. The more we do this, the more we reduce these instances on our streets. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. From all of us in the studio, it's bye-bye and thanks for watching.
Thank you.